there. I want you to know that I sure am glad you made the decision to join us today for Devotions with Brother Aaron. Glad you're here. I've entitled today's devotion, Where Everybody Knows Your Name. Years ago, the long-running and highly successful television program Cheers called it quits. Now, as a preacher, I must state that I didn't agree with the show's disregard for biblically based family values. However, that show touched a nerve with its vast audience. Do you know what that nerve was? It was simply this. Although they were in a bar setting, the patrons found there what they couldn't find anywhere else. While at the bar, they were important. They were accepted for who they really were, faults and all. Their opinion mattered, and in short, they were part of a family. I think the lyrics of the theme song say it all. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. A good while back, a young student from Wake Forest was afforded the opportunity to work with Mother Teresa in her ministry to the poverty-stricken people of Calcutta, India. When the young student asked Mother Teresa about the abject poverty in which she ministered, Mother Teresa responded to her that the worst poverty was the feeling of abandonment, the feeling of being alone. Folks, every day we are surrounded by people who feel as though they have been abandoned. They feel all alone. They wonder, does anybody care that I'm alive? Does anybody know my name? How horrible this must be. Christian friend, I'll take it one step further. Every Sunday, churches of all faiths are filled with lonely, hurting people who feel abandoned. I'm sure they wonder, does anybody in this church know or care that I'm lonely and hurting? Do they care that I'm alive? Does anybody here even know my name? I think that in our piety, we church folk have misunderstood what most folks are looking for in a church. We think people come to our church because of the beautiful buildings, wonderful programs, inspired singing, or great preaching. But after almost 50 years of pastoring, I have concluded that most folks come seeking to have a need met that hasn't been met anywhere else. They are looking for a place where everybody knows their name. They are seeking a fellowship where, faults and all, they are accepted for who they are. They're looking for a place where their opinions matter and they feel like family. It is time we realize that doing church is not merely meeting on Sunday, singing our songs, giving our money, preaching our sermons, and doing our programs. We do church as the Spirit draws us to people who are hurting. Then, without becoming judgmental, we meet them where they are, listen to their situation or their story, learn their names, pray with them, cry with them, love them, and accept them into our family. That's what they're looking for. After all, isn't that what Jesus would do? Do you want to minister for Jesus? Ask God to lead you to someone lonely, hurting, and in need of a friend, then become that friend. Remember, sometimes all of us want to go where everybody knows our name. Several years ago, when Marianne and I still lived in Hogansville, Georgia, our pastor friend, Randall Hodge, started a church that met at 8 a.m. on Sundays at a biker bar. The motif was just as you may imagine. They were bikers. They lived that lifestyle. They had tried traditional church. It didn't work for them, but they were willing to give this biker church thing a try. We never compromised our values. In fact, I had them tell me directly to my face they didn't expect me to compromise my values, nor would they respect me if I did. They just wanted someone authentic in their walk with Jesus. I readily admit that God really stretched me with this one. He really did. But in that restaurant bar setting was a family table where anybody who wanted could sit. Marianne and I had a place there. God did a tremendous work there. And guess what? They knew our names, and they knew we knew theirs. We still do today. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. Lord, I pray that every one of us listening to this devotion today will be willing to be stretched by you, God, in our concepts of what's acceptable and unacceptable and what faith really is or is not. And God, that as you stretch us, you'd bring us to someone who may not look like us, walk like us, act like us, talk like us, or maybe even believe like us. But Lord, would you let us be you to them? Would you let them see you in us? Lord, would you help us to remember sometimes they're just looking for a place at the table, family, and want to be associated with folks who know their name and who are always glad they came. And I ask this in your name. Amen.